Success is doing what you were created to do and being who you were created to be. And seeing that we all were made in the image of God, our absolute success then is to be like God, because we were created to be like God and we were created to follow God's example and direction. Therefore, our absolute success as the children of God, the people of God, is then godliness. Our objective success then would be to utilize the gifts and the talents that He created us with, that we now possess with our personality, to develop the character of God within us, because we do have the capacity to be like God, and salvation ensures that we reach our highest potential, because God has granted us the initial and original resource of His grace and power to make it so. In other words, to make us, to help us, to empower us to be like Him. Now, what then is the formula for our success? And we will realize that that formula is a very simple formula. And as long as we have clarity on what the formula for our success is, then our success is attainable. The success that God wants us to experience is attainable. Now, when we understand that formula, we apply that formula as a principle to every aspect of our lives, and we are able to benefit in other aspects of our lives as well. And what we will realize, that the formula for success is this: success is based on obedience to law and the utilization of resources and tools with a commitment to grow. So let's repeat that. Our success at being like God, our success at anything in our lives, is based on obedience to law, a commitment to growth, and a utilization of tools and resources. And when we follow this principle or these principles, we will realize that we will be successful in anything that we undertake, if success is our desired end. Let's repeat it for a third time. Our success is based on obedience to law, because all that law simply is the way things are supposed to work in its proper function and harmonious relation to every part of the whole. So success is obedience to law. Success will be found by being obedient to the law that governs the situation. So if I want to be a chef and I go to chef school, what I am actually being taught are the laws of cooking. That if I want the desired end result of a perfect meal, a beautiful meal, a tasty meal, a well-presented meal, therefore I learn those laws. And I have to be now committed to learning those laws and utilize the tools and the resources that aid me in the desired outcome. Those tools and resources for a chef would be utensils, would be machinery, and those resources also would be human resources with particular skill sets that will help that chef to become a successful chef, especially if he is running a restaurant. So in any skill, any trade, any vocation, any profession, that person becomes a professional person. That person becomes a skilled person because they learnt well the laws that were governing their vocation, their skill set, or their profession, and they learned well because they were committed to learning them, and they utilized the resources that made them proficient in the area in not only learning but carrying forward or implementing the information and the instruction that they received. So this is how and that is success. That is success. So success is simply put, hearing and doing. Siri again. And so therefore, beloved.
One sec.
Therefore, beloved, success is obedience to law. So we learn what the laws are that govern the situation, and this is what it is, because law is something very simple and very profound. Law is simply the way things work. So when you go to learn to be a doctor, you are learning how the body works. You are learning how medicine works. You are learning about the resources that are available to you that will help you to be able to treat patients. You are learning how to identify issues, how to diagnose. You are learning the pathology, how things operate. And so what we are learning really is simply law. Law is how things work. Full stop. And so therefore, to be a Christian, we cannot be Christians if we break the law, because we are now being unsuccessful at being Christians, because the law tells us how to love God and how to love man. And so therefore, if we want to be successful at being who God has created us to be, we have to follow, obey His law, because the law simply shows us how to get it done. How to love God? We have to follow, obey His law, because His law says, it is, if you love me, Jesus said, keep my commandments. In other words, you cannot be like me if you do not follow the directions that I have laid down that enable you and empower you to be just like I am. And so therefore, this is the purpose and this is the power of law. So we as Christians, we as God's people can actually be successful at what we undertake if we are willing to, because we should understand the principles that govern success. And so therefore, this is why I may develop a product, I may have that product there, but the product is not being sold, and I would feel as though that I am not being successful, or I am doing all that I can, I may feel as though that I am not being successful. I may feel as though I am doing all that I can, and nothing is working. Well, this is the thing. If I have a product that I develop and it is there and it is not being utilized, I must remember that I have to obey the laws governing the situation. If people do not know what I have, they cannot. If they don't know what I have, they can't buy it. So now I have to obey the laws of marketing. If you want people to buy, the people must know what you have, and the people must understand how much they need what you have. And if they don't have that understanding or feel that sense of need for what you have provided, they are not going to buy. So if I spent time researching and developing a product, therefore, I obey the laws governing the situation. But if I want that product to be sold, I now have to come to the understanding of additional laws. All right, beloved? And so this is why there's levels to success. And beloved, in our Christian experience, there are levels to our success. And so therefore the person that you were as a new convert should not be the person that you remain as a seasoned Christian existing for a few years. The knowledge that you had as a new convert, you cannot remain in that basic entry level knowledge. You have to have a commitment to growth. And that commitment to growth pushes you to utilize the resources and the tools that support growth. This is why we have to study to show ourselves approved unto God, workmen that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth, existing on meat and not just milk. So we need to grow, and if we do not grow, we will not be successful Christians. And so, beloved, this is our formula for success. And we can be successful at what we undertake because we understand that basic formula. Find out the laws that govern the situation, obey those laws, be committed to learning them, be committed to utilizing the resources, be committed to growth, and then you'll be successful. And this is how we are successful Christians. Because literally, a successful Christian means that you understand that spirituality is actual balance. It's balance in every aspect of your life and every aspect of your being. It is constantly pushing yourself to grow and utilizing the resources that will supplement and produce your growth. That's what it is. So being a Christian is not that you get so spiritual and you're heavily minded and then you become no earthly good. Spirituality actually makes you practical. And when you become impractical in spirituality, it's not spirituality that is making you impractical, it's extremism. And so this is something that we have to guard against. So when you read in the book of Joshua, chapters 1, and let me find that for you, and verse 8, it says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success." So if Joshua kept the law with him, meditate upon it, and obey that law, his way was going to be prosperous and he is going to have good success. You and I can have good success exactly where it counts today in our relationship with Christ and in the important things of our life if we seek to obey the laws governing those situations. This is how we experience success. Blessings and peace.